In January this year, Pakistan International Airlines published an advertisement meant to promote the resumption of their flights to Paris. It depicted the Eiffel Tower and a plane aiming at it. The Paris sky was overlaid by the colors of the French flag, with the red part of which ominously reminiscent of a stain of blood. The caption to the picture was, "Paris, we are coming today." The ad immediately provoked an outcry in social media. "Is this an advertisement or a threat?" someone wrote on X. Others claimed that the picture refers to the iconic image of the terrorist attack on New York City in 2001. The public anxiety was not based solely on the image. Pakistan indeed had some connections to the September 11th attacks. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who is accused of being mastermind of the attacks, was arrested in Pakistan. Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda, was killed by US forces also in Pakistan in 2011. So, following the scandal, the Prime Minister of Pakistan has ordered an investigation of this case, which is now in progress. So was it an advertisement or a threat? Or was it an advertisement of a threat? I can't really imagine what could be investigated here. It is obvious that the producer of the image cannot be held responsible for someone's associations evoked by it. Yet, evoking associations is the essence of the advertising business. On July 7, 2024, the advertisement of the recruitment account Privet bot, Privet means hi in Russian, inviting the residents of European countries to join the fight against Ukraine's Western allies, was posted on the Grey Zone, now banned but then time largest pro-Russian Telegram channel, associated with the Wagner mercenary group. The ad was in English, as it was addressed to the international audience. Several video clips of different industrial fires were followed by the text describing different fire accidents allegedly in Romanian cities and attributing them first to the activity of some mysterious Romanian friends who, as ad claims, said "Privet" to us, but then to the readers themselves. You are the ones who boldly said "Privet" to us. You are the ones the Western establishment is afraid of, printing one news article after another about you. They are afraid that there will be more of you, and there are more of you. In this elusive language, saying "Privet" is an euphemism for conducting pro-Russian sabotage. Like in a dream or hallucination where the past and future merge, the text addresses the reader as someone who is already engaged in sabotage activity, but at the same time not yet, and is invited to do it in the future. "We will help you and thank you. Just say "Privet" to us," says that. During the last year, several investigations have been published by Ukrainian and European media about people in Ukraine and in Europe who Russia recruited through Telegram and other online platforms to commit espionage, sabotage, arson, vandalism, or sometimes even murder. The announcements are usually scattered among job offers, housing tips, and internet scams across channels frequented by refugee groups, or through the channels related to gambling or drugs, where people who are in need, in a vulnerable situation, or in despair, or just in search for quick money can be easily tracked. Here is an example from Estonia. The graffiti "Kill Net Hacked You" on the outer walls of a military complex that houses the NATO Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence was drawn by Latvian citizen Sergei Hodanovich, then 21 years old. Sergei met his client, nicknamed Green, while searching for weed on Telegram chats. He was later arrested. According to his testimonies, he didn't understand the meaning of the graffiti, nor did he know who his client was. He earned 400 euros for this task. The business is organized in such a way that there is a long chain of middlemen, which makes it difficult to attribute the recruitment to specific actors. And the people recruited don't really know who they are working for and what operations they are involved in. Or they have an option not to be aware of who they are working on and what they are doing. This option is called plausible deniability. In the case of recruitment networks, this kind of plausible deniability of the individual involvement in war operations is enabled by the architecture of a labor process standard to what we call gig economy, an economic system where people earn income by providing on-demand work, services or goods, and are paid for each task. It is the latest manifestation of automation of the labor process, which implies a dissolution of the production process into small tasks that can be performed by interchangeable workers who don't see the complete cycle of production and don't control the final product. It also implies the dissolution of a working collective and substituting it with the mass of atomized individuals coordinated through digital platforms. In case the gig economy converges with war, the war operations can be implemented as a set of discrete tasks by random, atomized contractors. This kind of war operation can be performed in a foreign country without military violation of the border, and even without an organized group or at least a vaguely formed community of supporters of a certain military agenda. The basic resource that is needed, at least for the start of the operation, is a certain amount of a precarious individuals. So, unlike the classical proxy war model, where the operations are outsourced to organized paramilitary units, in this model of outsourced war, the proxy is an atomized and automated individual who can participate in a military operation without making a decision to participate in this military operation. The war is being marketed as just a gig, a profitable deal. The very structure of this kind of employment offers you an option not to be aware of what you are contributing to. But even in the case of more explicit recruitment, as the one on the Grey Zone channel, which is obviously militaristic, the message is still constructed according to plausible deniability logic, which perfectly matches the elusive aesthetics of advertising. So let's look once again at the private bot advertising. It is structured as a fake. According to Ukrinform investigation, the inscriptions of the images were all false. The videos, used as a proof of pro-Russian sabotage in Romania, in fact depicted early accidents of different origins and in different places, like this one in Argentinian city San Marco. This is an interesting military strategy. By simply claiming that any random trouble is a part of your special operation, you build your threatening image for almost no cost. In a way, it is a radical application of a hyper-outsourced model typical to the gig economy. It is also a very comfortable way of profiting from something without taking responsibility for it, simply because it doesn't exist. The menacing collectivity the ad refers to is also fake, of course, because there is no collective subject behind those unrelated fires. Yet, even if this collectivity doesn't exist, you, the reader, are addressed as if you already belong to it. You are addressed as an agent of violence. The collective realm is imaginary in advertising, but its virtual consumption suffices to ensure serial conditioning, wrote Jean Baudrillard in The System of Objects, describing the advertising strategy of solicitation based on what he calls the presumption of collectivity, which means that ads typically strive to provoke our desire for some product by referring to an imaginary collectivity of people who already desire it. Like in this ad for cigarette brand number 6 from 1975. People like you are changing to number 6, it claims. It also addresses you addresses you as if you already belong to the community of number 6 consumers. For this ad to work, it doesn't matter that those people don't exist, that they are not like you, and that people like you are not changing to number 6. What matters is your desire to belong, to be like others. For the advertising to work, it doesn't matter that the image of the community it ascribes you to is fictional and doesn't have a referent in reality. Quite on the contrary, the task of the advertisement is to evoke a desire, which, as we know, thrives when there is a lack. That is why the advertisement sign doesn't refer to what exists. It draws attention to what is absent. The image creates a void, indicates an absence, and it is in this respect that it's evocative, Baudrillard claimed. The advertising shows you something fictional and tries to evoke your desire to make it real in the future. Its images don't represent what's already there. They strive to shape what will come. They are aimed at future. While calling something a fake, we imply the concept of a fact as its counterpart. Fact is something finished, something belonging to the past, and fake is a falsified past we assume. We still tend to perceive information as a domain of facts, and therefore domain of the past. Yet, the present-day information space is heavily defined by the edtech and marktech, as Clea showed us clearly today, and its temporality structure seems to start shifting accordingly. What we call fakes are the symptoms of such a shift. Fakes are signs designed as facts but structured as advertisement. They are aimed not at our knowledge about the past, but at our imagination about the future. This photoshopped image of fires in Donetsk was posted by the local Donetsk news website on May 26, 2014, a day when the Russians took over the Donetsk airport, causing the first heavy fights in the city. But there were no such fires at that day. The conflagration, very similar to the one in the photoshopped picture, erupted in Donetsk when the Russians caused explosions in the Donetsk chemical plant. The image of fire came before the fire itself. By the simulation principle, the image of an event is modeling of it. Images circulate more easily than words. When interpretation is too hard, when making an argument takes too long, little images are ready stand-ins, wrote Jody Dean, reflecting on the viral circulation of images on the internet. Images can convey emotions or desires without being precise about them. The more elusive the advertisement image is, the more people can project on it their own desires. The more open the meme is to different meanings, the more spreadable it is. Elusiveness is a key to spreadability. It is not by chance that one of the most circulated memes in history is the so-called disaster girl meme, featuring a smiling girl who probably just burned someone's house. While the reasons behind your problems might be complex and hard to grasp, the disaster girl meme can convey how you feel about them, offering also an emotional release by acknowledging your dark side, by admitting that yes, sometimes we want it all burned to ashes. There are many reasons why the fantasy of disaster is so appealing. One of them is frustrated craving for a change, a feeling of impotence, inability to handle the disappointing conditions of your existence. It could also be just an exhaustion. As one Ukrainian comedian said, Ukrainians are not afraid of nuclear bombing because we are too tired. Yes, sometimes we even dream about it. We plan to have a nationwide orgy in case of nuclear bombing. There are no less reasons why the image of violence is appealing. Everyone can invest their own frustration and resentment in the image of a sinister little girl who's just burned whatever was bothering her. It is not by chance the Telegram channels recruiting people for making arsons use the variation of disaster girl meme to advertise the job. The job they advertise is exactly the reproduction of this meme. Yes, yet in reality, the invitation is to embrace your age and get paid for it. Yet, the most important part of the job is to produce an image of the harm you inflict. The recruited firebugs say that curators make it clear that the content is a priority. For the car arsons gigs in Ukraine, for example, the curators sometimes suggest the contractors to take an already burned out car, burn it again, and film it. The material damage is not the main aim of the sabotage. Be it a car arson, a vandalizing monument, pro-Russian graffiti, the main aim is to create media content. The job is to produce an image of violence, while the violence becomes an image production tool. In this creepy loop, the image production and production of violence coincide. Content creators are violent makers. Ernst Dichter, director of the Institute for Motivational Research, said that the task of the ad is to give permission to the desires that you would tend to feel awkward about. The problem confronting us now is how to allow the average American to feel moral, even when he's flirting, even when he's spending money, even when he's buying the second or the third car he wrote back in the 50s. The way to give permission is, again, through the presumption of collectivity. If you can imagine other people doing this, then you are more ready to do it too. Atomized gig workers are hired to scatter the signs of violence across the media field, to stage the presence of a violent collectivity in the given society, and therefore give permission for the desire for violence, and encourage passage à l'acte, a passage to action. The aim of this campaign is to incline you to unleash your anger so it can be used as a military resource. It seduces you with the images of violence and sells you the war. As soon as there is a sufficient number of angry customers in a given society, there is a potential for a new booming market for the war industry. That's exactly what happened in Donbass in 2014, when the war started, when the anger of people frustrated with their precarious lives was used by Russia to fuel the inception of war. It all started with fake images and tempting gigs. First, handing flyers, then taking part in the seizure of governmental institutions, then organizing the referendum for separation from Ukraine. After the referendums, Russian-managed paramilitary structures became the main employment option in the region. We used to think of pain as a resource for a revolution. Once there is a critical mass of outrage and discontent in society, there is a chance for a change, we tend to believe. Yet, according to neuromarketing guru David Sandler, who's extremely popular in Russia, by the way, pain is a marketing goldmine. According to Sandler, in order to sell something, you don't need to explain the benefits of it. You just need to locate the pain of your leads, remind them about it, or better, enhance it, and convince them that you can eliminate it. Modern war enters the gig market, promising to soothe our pains with a never-ending shower of dark money, while digital platforms help to aggregate and coordinate atomized, outraged individuals as proxy war operatives. Does it mean that it's time to reconsider the concept and the affect of revolution? Thank you.